Good morning, students. Now, today we will start with a new topic from Standard 12, the last chapter from State Board Chemistry syllabus. Chapter number 16, the green chemistry and nanochemistry. So, this green chemistry and nanochemistry, it is this chapter, it is related, mainly green chemistry. This green chemistry part is related to the use of the substances or the matters which is obtained from natural resources. So we should behave eco-friendly with environment, and also we use all the chemicals and the processes which are occurred naturally or from the natural products. So what is green chemistry? Green chemistry is the use of chemistry for pollution prevention by environmentally conscious design of chemical products and processes that reduces or eliminate the use or generation of hazardous substances. So what is green chemistry? May I repeat again? It is the use of chemistry. For which purpose we have to use the chemistry? For the prevention of pollution. How we will prevent the pollution? By environmentally cautious design of chemical products and processes. If we design the chemicals, products and processes which are eco-friendly, then that will reduce or eliminates the use for hazardous substances, or that will eliminate the pollution part, and also it will prevent the use and generation of hazardous substances. So that part comes in green chemistry. Now sustainable development. What do you mean by sustainable development? See, this green chemistry plays an important role in sustainable development. We can achieve the sustainable development by adopting the 12 principles of green chemistry. So for sustainable development, we have to adopt 12 basic principles of green chemistry. But what do you mean by sustainable development? It is the development that meets the needs of present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. So in sustainable development, we have to meet to our present needs, but when we are meeting our present needs, then we should not compromise for the future generation of their own needs. So that is called as the sustainable development. Now what are the 12 basic principles of green chemistry that we will discuss? What is first basic principle is prevention of waste or byproduct. To give the priority for prevention of waste rather than cleaning up or treating waste after it has been created. So how to prevent the waste? So we know that always better to cure, always prevention is better than the cure. As per this one, so before creation of the waste products, better to prevent the formation of waste rather than cleaning up and treating the waste after it has been created. So we have to prevent the waste or byproduct. Which waste or byproduct? Which is obtained after the chemical processes or in chemical industries. So how we are going to prevent the waste or byproduct? By using the technology ZWT. What is ZWT? Z for zero, W for waste, and T for technology. Zero waste technology. In terms of ZWT, in a chemical synthesis, the waste product should be zero or it should be minimum. So use of waste product of one system as a raw material for the another system. So in ZWT, zero waste technology, some waste products which are obtained in a chemical synthesis, that waste product of one system we have to use as a raw material for the another system. So we have to reutilize the waste which is obtained, or we have to try so that waste product should be zero or it should be minimum. For example, bottom ash of thermal power station can be used as a raw material for cement and brick industries. Effluent coming out from cleaning of machinery parts may be used as a coolant water in thermal power station. So in ZWT, waste product of one system we have to utilize or reutilize as a raw material for the another system. So this is one method for prevention of waste product or byproducts. Now second principle is atom economy. atom economy is a measure of amount of atoms from starting material and atom present in useful products at the end of chemical processes. What it means, whenever any chemical process takes place either in laboratory or in industries, whatever amount of atoms are present in the starting material, that is in a raw material, and atoms which are present after the formation of useful product at the end of chemical process, in that case we have to think about the economy. Good atom economy means most of the atoms of reactants are utilized in a desired product and very small amount of unwanted byproducts are formed. Hence, there will be a less problem of waste disposable. So, what is good atom economy? Whatever raw material we are investing as a starting material, that completely utilized in a to form a desired product, a very small amount of unwanted byproduct or waste should be formed, and so that there will be the less problem of the waste disposable. That is the atom economy. How to determine the atom economy? There is one formula to find to calculate the atom economy. The concept of atom economy gives the measure of unwanted product produced in a particular reaction. So, formula is percentage atom economy is equal to formula weight of desired product divided by sum of the formula weight of all reactants used in reaction multiplied by 100. Using this formula, we have to find the percent atom economy. So, this one is the second principle of green chemistry. Third one, less hazardous chemical synthesis. Less hazardous chemical synthesis means in chemistry or in laboratory or industry, whatever chemicals are produced, they are manufactured, they should be less hazardous. So, design and synthesis of chemical reaction should be as safe as possible so that we can avoid the formation of hazardous waste from a chemical process. Illustration or example. Earlier, DDT, what is long form of DDT? Dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane. DDT was used as an insecticide and also it was effective in controlling the diseases like typhoid and malaria carrying mosquitoes. Now, afterward it was realized that DDT is harmful for living things. Nowadays, BHC, benzene hexachloride, is used as an insecticide. One of the gamma isomer of BHC is called as gamaxane or linden, that we are using for a material. Nowadays BHC is used. Next one, designing safer chemicals. Now we have to design safer chemical, that is the next one. To develop products that are less toxic or which requires less toxic raw material. Such products we have to design. So, we have to design for the safer chemicals. In chemical industries, workers are exposed to toxic environment. In order to prevent the workers from exposure to toxicity, we should think of designing safer chemicals. For example, adipic acid is widely used in polymer industry. Benzene is the starting material or monomer for synthesis of adipic acid. But it was found that benzene is carcinogenic and benzene is volatile organic compound which pollutes the air. Now, what green technology suggests? In green technology, which was developed by Drath and Frost, adipic acid is enzymatically synthesized from glucose. So, instead of preparing adipic acid from benzene, it was suggested that adipic acid should be enzymatically synthesized from glucose. So, it will cause the less toxicity and it is the safer design for preparation of adipic acid. What is next one? Use safer solvent and auxiliaries. Choose the safest solvent available for any given step of reaction. Minimize the total amount of solvents and auxiliary substances used. So, we have to use such solvent which is safe and its dependent quantity, that is auxiliaries. It should be safer. The main aim behind this is to use the green solvent. Which are the green solvent? For example, use the water. Water is the eco-friendly solvent. CO2 in place of volatile halogenated organic solvents like CH2Cl2, methylene dichloride, CHCl3, chloroform, CCl4, carbon tetrachloride. So instead of using such chemical solvent, if possible, better to use the eco-friendly solvents like water, CO2, etc. Water is a safe solvent, while dichloromethane, that is CH2Cl2, is a hazardous. Use of toxic solvent affects millions of workers, consumers, and the environment. Volatile organic compounds and their uses also creates a large amount of waste. It causes the air pollution and also it impacts the health. So we have to choose such safer solvent which is eco-friendly. Now next one is design for energy efficiency. Chemical synthesis should be designed to minimize the use of energy. It's better to minimize the energy by carrying out the reaction at room temperature and pressure. If we carry out the reaction at room temperature and pressure, naturally the less quantity of energy will be required. But how this can be achieved? This can be achieved by the use of proper catalyst, use of microorganisms for organic synthesis, use of renewable resources or materials, etc. The biocatalyst can work at all conditions. Similarly, in chemical synthesis, refluxing conditions requires less energy, improving the technology of heating system like use of microwave heating. So, we have to design such sources so that less energy will be required. Then use of renewable feedstocks or use of renewable sources. Use the chemicals which are made up from renewable, that is plant-based or environment sources rather than others. Over-exploitation of non-renewable feedstocks will deplete the resources and future generation will be deprived. Use of these non-renewable resources put the burden on the environment, while on other hand, use of renewable sources, for example, agricultural and biological products, ensures the sharing of resources by future generation. The products and waste are generally biodegradable. So, we have to prefer the use of renewable feedstocks which is obtained from the nature or plant-based resources. Next one, reduce the derivatives, minimization of steps. Unnecessary derivatization or for example installation and removal of use of protecting groups should be minimized or avoided if possible, because every step or each steps requires the additional reagent and it can generate the waste. So what is the basic behind this? If in organic synthesis, better to minimize the step for getting the product, because if we increase the steps, then additional reagents will be required and more waste will be generated. So better the one step is minimization of steps. In organic synthesis, we need protection, blocking of the groups of some functional groups, and finally again we need the deprotection. So, for example, synthesis of meta-hydroxybenzoic acid from meta-hydroxybenzaldehyde. The green chemistry principle aims to develop the methodology where unnecessary steps should be avoided. Biocatalytic reactions are very often need no protection or of selective groups. Next one, use of catalyst. Use of catalyst in a chemical reaction speed up its rate. Catalyst helps to increase selectivity, minimizes the waste and reduce the reaction time and energy demand. So we have to choose proper catalyst to carry out the reaction to speed up the reaction. What is 10th principle? Design for degradation. Design the chemicals that degrade and that can be discarded, decomposes easily. Ensure that both chemicals and their degradation products should be non-toxic, bioaccumulative. The aim behind this principle is that the waste product should degrade automatically to clean the environment, thus biodegradable polymers and pesticides are always preferred. 11th is real-time analysis, pollution prevention. Analytical methods need to be developed to allow the real-time in-process monitoring and control prior to the formation of hazardous substances. So we have to choose such analytical methods which can complete in real time. During each and every step we should monitor the steps, and if any hazardous substance are going to be formed, then we must know the priorly. Analytical methodologies should be developed or modified so that continuous monitoring of the manufacturing and processing unit is possible. This is very much important for chemical industries and nuclear reactor. Last principle is safer chemistry for accident prevention. We need to develop chemical processes that are safer and minimize the risk of accident. The substances to be used in chemical reaction should be selected in a such a way that they can minimize the occurrence of chemical accidents, explosion, fire and emission. If the chemical process works with gaseous substances, then the possibility of accident including explosion is relatively higher as compared to the system working with non-volatile liquid and solid substances. In such case, we need to develop a chemical processes that are safer and minimize the risk of accident. So in green chemistry, we have to follow these 12 basic principles so that we can minimize the pollution, we can prevent the pollution, we can waste product will be zero waste product, that is ZWT technology we can adopt. Now after this, the role of green chemistry. What is the role of green chemistry? The first one, the green chemistry helps to prevent pollution. Green chemistry helps in pollution prevention practices in the manufacture of chemicals, and also it promotes industrial ecology. Green chemistry is a very new way of looking at chemicals and their manufacturing processes to minimize any negative environmental effect. Green chemistry revolution is the beginning, and with new challenges for chemistry involved with the discovery, manufacture and use of chemicals. Green chemistry helps to protect the presence of ozone, which is essential for the survival of life on the earth. Green chemistry is useful to control the greenhouse effect, that is global warming. So nowadays, because of the man-made chemicals which are hazardous, some chemicals are hazardous, so it's better to prefer the green chemistry in our daily life to meet our daily needs. So this is our first half of the chapter, that is green chemistry.